Hi, and welcome to another video on graphing exponential functions, but this is a context where we're going to graph the exponential function and linear function, a line, and find the point of intersection because we want to solve, basically this will help us solve an equation. So there is a, it says given the function f of x equals 140 times 1.08 to the x power, it says find x when f of x equals 210. So this is really like two different equations. Y equals 140 times 1.08 to the x, and y equals 210. And where those two graphs intersect, that's where the function will be equal to 210. And so down here you can see they've got this equation. We're really solving this equation. And the point of intersection has the x value of that point of intersection will be the solution. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Now I'm going to use Desmos because Desmos is quick and gives us points to graph real simply. So let's graph 140 times 1.08 to the x. Now you need to open Desmos. There's the desmos.com is the /calculators, how you can get to this if you need to, if you don't know already. So we'll just put in y equals 140 and then in parentheses, or you can put the times, the asterisk is a time sign. So the asterisk is right above the 8, the shift function and 8. And then we'll put in 1.08. We actually didn't need parentheses here. And then to the power of, and that's the caret, and that's the shift 6. That gives you the caret. That makes it an exponent, and there gives you an x. So 140 times 1.08 to the x power. And so that'll be one graph. So we go ahead and enter, and it'll, notice it doesn't show up. And why is that? Well, when x is 0, we get 1.08 times to the 0 is 1, and 140 times 1 is still 140. So the vertical intercept is really, really high. And also, look at the next function we're going to graph is y equals 210. So we plug in y equals 210. Notice again, there's no, it doesn't show up on here. So how do we change that? Well, you can go and just kind of use this. This zoom out makes the graph bigger. And there we start to see it. So you can click on the minus sign. And you can also click on this little graph setting. And it will change the x-axis values and the y-axis values. So if we go back to the graph, notice we don't need all this stuff to the right or left. I could say just negative 50 to positive 50 would be big enough. So I just want you to see how to change those settings. So you go down here to this graph and you can change this to a negative 50 and to positive 50. Delete all those. Positive 50, and then go ahead and click back, and that changed it. So it makes a little, zooms it in. It's not really necessary. We could zoom in this way in the vertical direction too, because we don't need all those values. Click here. We don't really need to go up to 400. We could zoom in a little bit that way. And let's see, you can shift it down and zoom in even more if you wanted. So you can use the, I'm left clicking and moving the graph around, and so when I zoom in it kind of centers on that point. Now let's take a look at this. This asks us to graph it on WAMAP. So to do that on WAMAP, you're going to have to put in, here's the 140 and then another value. So let's put in 140 and 0, and then if you notice on Desmos, if you click on a point here, it'll show you what the value of that point is. So it says 2, and then you have like 163, 2, oops, click there, and I have to hold it, and 1, it's 2.02, 2 and 163.296. So I can put that in. And notice if you click up here, notice that point is already highlighted. Desmos automatically gives you the point of intersection. So the actual point of intersection is right here, 5.268. See, 5.268, comma, well, 210, we knew that was 210 already. The solution to this equation up here, the x value, is the 5.268. They're asking you to find the point of intersection. So in order to do that, you have to put the x and the y value in. But we can draw this 210, and just to remind you, notice I'm clicking on the straight line, and then coming up here and moving that over this way. See, I think that's pretty close. Might be a little bit up. Might be a little too high. That's really, that's about right on. It's kind of a pain on WAMAP. Oops, I accidentally left clicked, so there's an extra one on, so I have to clear all. There isn't really a way just to back up one at a time that I found on this. So. I'm going to be careful. And now over here, that's the line. Now I have to come here and click on the exponential curve, and that of course is 140 is one of the values right there. And then the other value is, well, remember I had some over here. I can go over here and say, okay, it's 5.268. Boy, that's kind of hard to tell where that is. That would be right about, well, here's 5.5 would be halfway. 5 1/4 would be right about there. So I could guess that's about right there. And then I click on this dot and to put the point there. And now that's a little bit off, but you know, like I said, it's pretty. If I hit Control Z, notice it doesn't delete the last thing I did. It deletes that. It deleted what I typed. So to get this right, I need to have all the graphs correct. And let's just slide down and see. Does that accept it? Yeah, it gave me full credit, even though I know those points aren't exactly right. They're close enough. So there's a little bit of leeway in WAMAP. So that was a full credit. You can see there's a green arrow, green box around it. It's checked green that the graph is okay too, even though it's not perfect. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful.